You can't say nothing. You can't tell a Trump supporter nothing about Trump. Oh, you're not my Trump. They love motherfucking Trump. People ask me all the time, Quake, what kind of woman you looking for in your life? I say, nigga, I'm looking for a woman like a Trump supporter. No matter what she hear about me, that bitch don't believe shit. I heard he got another woman. That's fake news, baby. That's fake news. Don't listen to them hoes. They're the enemy of the state. These ain't jokes.
Welcome to the Diaspora News Desk. So, we have here Trump again. Yes, Trump again. And what does it say here? It says Trump told top U.S. general to, and I quote, just shoot. Racism protesters book claims. So, you have here the General Mark Milley resisted Trump's call for violent response to the protesters, right? The Black Lives Matter protesters. So he was just saying, just shoot them, right? And that's him in the back right there, with Trump and everything. Trump obviously fired him. I'm not going to get into that. Trying to make this short and sweet. But I'm bringing this up to just tell you this is just another check in the box of why Trump is racist. When the rubber meets the road, Trump is a racist, and especially when it comes to black people. Ever since back in the 80s with the Central Park Five, he wanted to bring the death penalty back just for them, just for those black and Hispanic men, only for them. And even when they were exonerated, they say, well, Mr. Trump, do you want to retract that statement? He says no. They still should be killed, even though there's DNA evidence that exonerated them from the crime, even though that there was an actual confession of the right person who said that they did it, and that DNA matched with the actual person who committed those crimes. Trump still said, I am not going to retract my statement. Yeah, so this is the type of person who we're dealing with. So he wanted to, he said, just shoot them. Whereas January 6th, right, which he incited that riot because he's saying that they're taking your democracy, and you have a couple of token ass Negroes that are Republicans, but the real token ass Negroes that take it seriously, and they went to the Capitol with their racist friends. They were just being good niggers, so they were down with Trump and everything, doing what they needed to be done because they thought that their democracy was going to be taken, to the point where they went inside there. They wanted to kill Mike Pence. So, and I spoke about this in one of my videos, to the point where you had all these insurrectionists, these white racist insurrectionists, calling the black cops niggers, saying they're going to take a gun, take the niggers' gun and shoot them with it. Yeah, these are your good Republicans, right? And then some Republicans wonder why black people want nothing to do with the fucking Republican Party, because these are grassroots Republicans. Not saying all Republicans are racist, but most racists to this caliber are Republicans. So Trump had no problem with them killing and breaking the law. He didn't order the shooting for them, but black people peacefully protesting with signs, not assaulting officers, not kicking down barricades, not breaking into the White House or the Capitol building. Those are the ones that we need to bring out the U.S. military to kill, to shoot. So, yeah. So when people say Trump is a racist, think of all these things that I've said and just have that swirl around in your mind. Just have that swirl around in your mind. Yes, people, just remember these images, right? Just remember these images. Remember, the Black Lives Matter protests happened first, right? So when Republicans hear black, if you're not if you're not dragging black people through the mud like Candace Owens and Larry Elder or any other house Negro, they get their guard up. Because most Republicans have no honor, no racial honor, or no dignity for themselves. They're just after the bag, right? So Black Lives Matter protest was first, and Donald Trump ordered this, right? He wanted the insurrection to happen, and like the bitch ass he is, like, he's also, Donald Trump is also a draft dodger. He wants to make fun of John McCain, but at least John McCain fought in the war. Donald Trump's excuse is that he has bone spurs. He just lied and said he had bone spurs, and his bitch ass tucked tail and ran. Same thing here. He incited the riot. He's supposed to be the leader. He said he's going to be there with you. He hauled ass like a bitch ass that he is. So just remember these images. Remember white fragility. White racists don't like the fact that black people are standing up for themselves and don't want to be killed and running over. So the images where he's saying Black Lives Matter, don't kill us, don't shoot us, that's offensive, right? But on the other hand, where he sees the Confederate flag and the American flag and the Trump flag and don't tread on me and all these things, all those things mean the same. So the Confederate flag is the same as the American flag. The American flag is the same as the don't tread on me flag, and so on and so forth. All these flags mean the same thing to Donald Trump. The Confederate flag and the Trump 2020 flag, he nods, yes, he grins at that. He had no problem with the alt-right going there, killing Heather Heyer, the crazy white dude that ran his car through the crowd because, they didn't like the fact that a Confederate general is being honored in a state in the United States that pretty much represents, obviously, insurrectionists, people who fought against the United States government because they want to have slavery. Anyway, so when someone says that Donald Trump isn't racist or they try to call it even, call out their bullshit. Because this is not even really, this is like so easy to connect the dots. This is easy. Even a 5-year-old could sense when someone hates them. So all these signs or flags are the same when it comes to Donald Trump, right? So just want to put that out there. So we're going to continue with the real news at hand as far as FBA, failed bitch ass Americans.
Now, out here in LA, we're focusing out here in LA. When we see a lot of things go on, a lot of black people are homeless. A lot of black people don't have the jobs that we need. Foundational black Americans, collectively, we're being undermined. It is imperative.
Failed bitch ass Americans are being undermined along with other black people. Right? We know white supremacists don't say, well, I'm going to screw these black people over more than these other black people. Because I like these niggers, but I don't like these niggers so much. That's not a thing. That doesn't happen. So, he kind of miss any rational thinking person with that bullshit talking point. Like, white supremacy does not function like that when it comes to black people.
That we, as foundational black Americans, focus on what we need to get. We have to get tangibles, and we have to stop going along with the undermining of our living process. Just our daily lives are being undermined by the white supremacist powers that be, and the problem is we go along with it because You have the Democrats running out here pretending to be friends, talking about black and brown this, minority coalition.
And that is true. The Democrats do that. They talk a good game. They try to circumvent our struggles with other people's struggles, which is very true. Versus the Republicans, they don't even entertain the thought of doing something for black people exclusively, especially due to slavery. Republicans, pretty much, when it comes to slavery, they don't regret it, or it's like whatever. They have stop asking for shit, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, despite the fact that white people have gotten every advantage, corporate wealth, from corporate welfare to other grants and other incentives and tax cuts and breaks for them to get an economic stronghold in the society since the beginning of the 13 colonies. We're not even talking about the United States. It's the 13 colonies to the formation of the United States. White people, white men, and white people as a whole have gotten lots of incentives so they can have an economic stronghold. And that was basically done by the Democrats and the Republicans. But like I said before, the Dems will talk a good game, really won't do nothing so much, but they'll entertain that, let's see what we could do for black people. Where the Republicans will on the stand is like, no, we're not doing that. You lazy Negroes.
We have to understand that politics is warfare without bloodshed. We have to stop.
That's an ADOS line that Yvette uses, and now he's using, and he doesn't even gonna realize that he's using that. I'm pretty sure Yvette's not the first person who coined it, but she uses it a lot.
Letting them engage in warfare tactics with us under the guise of kumbaya. Whenever you talk about black issues, we get the kumbaya speech. Other groups, when you talk about their issues, it's all about what their group is going to get. Family, do y'all know Biden has given billions of more dollars to Ukrainians? I'm not talking about the billions from a few weeks ago. There has been more money allocated to the Ukrainians. Out here in California, where I am, they're allocating so much money to undocumented people and some of the white Native Americans who are not really Native Americans. They just
that's bullshit. What? If you're a white Native American, there is such thing as a white Native American, but he's obviously trying to muddy up the waters because his audience are a bunch of idiots. Like, if you're Native American, you have to have a certain amount. You can be a white person and have Native American heritage, right? But you will have to hold up now, Negroes' heads going to explode because Negroes are stupid and they barely have a high school education in anything. For you to prove that you have Native American heritage, you will have to take a DNA test. You have to have a certain percentage of Native American within you to qualify to be a Native American, to get those tax breaks, to get those reparations for Native American. And I believe it's 20%, right? One Native American person I spoke to, you have to have 20%. 20% is not a lot. It really is not a lot. Like, I'll tell you why. You got a lot of black Americans, right? Some of them take a DNA test. They will probably, obviously their DNA would be mostly African, not no fucking Native American. It will be first African, then European. You will have blue, black, African, FBA, failed but broken Americans they will have 20% European ancestry. That is commonplace. But they look nothing near or close to being European. So, with that being said, 20% is not a lot to ask for to see if you're really Native American. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'll let him continue with his stupid talking points.
Just push something through that gives them free education. They don't have to pay no school tuition, so they can get free education, while our foundation of Black American children, they get educational debt. They go to school and they get debt all the way up until they're 50 years old. And again,
anybody that took out a student loan gets debt, whether you're black or white, purple, indigo, or checker. Depends what. If you're getting grants, you're getting scholarships and other things, then yes, you probably won't get it. But everyone gets debt. It's not like, oh, we're just gonna charge the black people college tuition. You sound like a damn idiot.
I'm not going to be advocating for that debt cancellation for everybody, because that's another con game that the Democrats want to use. We want to do debt cancellation for everybody, and that includes black.
So you don't want to. The Republicans is not even doing that, because the Republicans, like Betsy DeVos, has companies. Has a company. Her and husband has a company where they actually do the debt collection for financial aid for colleges, right? For your student loans. So that's why they're into charter schools. That's why they're into corporatizing public schools, and to get some type of economic advantage on it, because they're doing the whole college student loan thing, right? So they have a dog to fight in there. So they're doing student loan debt cancellation. Again, black Americans have student loan debt that they have to pay off. So if they say, hey, everybody gets student loan cancellation, obviously that's not a form of reparations, you stupid bitch. If it's everybody, you can't say I'm doing this for everybody, and it's something supposed to be exclusively only to help black people. So stop it.
Black people, no, we're going to need specific, proactive tangibles in the form of reparations. And I want people to understand out here in California. See, California, they set precedents out here for the rest of the country. And I want y'all to understand some of the dirty tactics that's happening out here in California right now. Because they test it out here and then it spreads around the country. And the displacement tactics that they use out here. See, we have to understand as black people, the dominant society, they're constantly at war with us. We go along thinking, okay, we're just invisible Negroes, don't nobody think about us. No, they think about us all the time. These folks have all types of think tanks that they sit up in and come up with ways to crap on us. I want y'all to understand that. They come up with ways to make sure that we are on our asses. And we have to be cognizant of this stuff. Now, as you know, we're trying to get the museum out here, and we faced a lot of...
Here we go. Here he comes with the excuses. He doesn't come with the results. But he's coming with the excuses as to why it's almost going on a year. It's been over 6 months since he's able to even get a building. Remember, he lied to everybody saying, hey, family, I just need the money to oh, my lips is dry. I just need the money to acquire the land. You dig? And once I get the money for the land, we can get this museum. Oh, my lips are so dry. We can get the museum on and popping. You hear me, family? You know, so donate. So donate. So people donated. Black people gave him money. Africans on black people, according to his stupid ass. So you had people that were from the Caribbean, from Africa. They were all giving him money. He did not build. He got all the money that he needed. What did he do? When he got all the money that he needed, what was his excuse? Family,
you see white supremacy. Oh, hold on, why my lips so dry? You know, you dig? You know, they doing shady tactics out here. You know, they won't give me the museum because they know. And what was his excuse? Oh, they trying all types of, not even a real excuse. They trying all these hyperbole phrases. They trying to finesse and you know, you dig? And no, we gave you $2 million. You said you had the land. You just needed $2 million for the groundbreaking. You had $2 million for the groundbreaking. Where is the money? Then he's going to say, well, I didn't hire a black realtor because like he foreseen how it was going to be because, you know, they're going to gentrify the place and they don't want no black business owners or anything like that. So he got a white realtor. Probably somebody from his wife's family because his wife is nearly white. She a mulatto. He got his white mother-in-law. He goes to, you know, when he has a family get-together, it'll be white people there who even know his people will be there, but definitely know white people's there because his wife's family, she's all white. Her mother's white, and you know what I'm saying, they having tuna casserole and they putting raisins in the mash, in the potato salad, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So for all we know, his white realtor is probably a family member, but that's besides the point. So he foreseen it was going to happen. So you got your white realtor and everything with money in hand, like he says, and he still couldn't get that building. The building that a lot of people are proving that he didn't even, like, people called the company that's selling the land and they never even heard of that. And Tariq lied again and said that it was, they sold it to, they sold that plot of land to somebody else when the land is still available. He's lying. And he's about to lie just so people could, well, the slow people, which is his followers, could, just in case they get a little bit of sense, at least they get two brain cells that could rub against each other to light a spark to say, hey, it's kind of true there that I gave him money to get that museum and he ain't got no museum. Why he ain't got no museum for? Because he has to, so now he's going to muddy up the waters despite all those lies that he's been exposed to lying. Now he's going to muddy up the waters and say, see, that's why I can't get it, family, you dig? I can't get the museum because white supremacy and the finesse and all this other bullshit. But we're going to let him tell it.
Difficulties and challenges, we're still going to make it happen. But I want y'all to understand the difficulties and the challenges that we're facing and some of the tactics that's being used against all black people out here, especially when you try to get into the business sector, when you try to own something out here. California real estate is very valuable, and it's going to go up even more in the next few years. We have the Olympics is coming out here. These areas are being gentrified left and right. So there's the real estate is going to boom out here big time. So when we try to own the property here, they get real funny style about black people owning it. And
again, his realtor is a white boy by his own admission. So far as any property company or any company that's trying to sell land, his white realtor was instructed, according to Tariq or Marcus, that's his name, was to, hey, look, I want this to be anonymous. Just say it's an art gallery, which is pretty much what it is, because he's talking about a museum. This is how he does not have a museum. He does not have any artifacts. You need artifacts. You need historical artifacts. You go to any museum, they have artifacts. No one builds a business, right? Especially a business that has to have inventory or certain items, right? You're not going to open up a supermarket for argument's sake and don't have a distribution for your groceries. That makes no sense. He has not once named any historical artifact that he will put in that museum. Look, he mentioned art. Art. I'm gonna do a bust of Dr. Henry Clark. I'm gonna have a painting of Francis Cress Welsing, or a bust. Have someone do a bust. You know, pretty much a sculpture of our Black American icons. That is an art gallery. At the most, a historical art gallery, but it's not a museum. So this is how I know he's taking y'all for a ride. And all out of his thousands of followers, it just goes to show how much stupid people there are in the world. I mean, there's YouTube, there's the internet, there's a niche for everybody. It's just sad that there's a niche for people like that, and so many people are just that gullible and moronic.
Not just the business people, but just black people living in certain areas. There was an article that came out this week, family. I want to share this article with you. It came out in the Bloomberg. All right. This came out in the Bloomberg, Bloomberg.com. I want y'all to peep this. This is very heavy.
It gives you an idea of what we're dealing with out here. This came out this week on the 27th. What's the day? Came out, was 3 days ago, 2 days ago. Yeah, 2 days ago. An entire neighborhood is being flipped by a Los Angeles developer, Shaw Kuba. Now, this guy, this isn't the guy. This is a brother right here. He's an African immigrant, but he owns a liquor store, and he's being targeted, by the way. So they're targeting the black immigrants. You're not getting away with the targeting either. They're targeting you too.
What? Again, white supremacy doesn't work like that. They can't tell if he's immigrant or not. He looks like a black American to me. If you didn't say anything, this is so asinine. Tariq and his Hitler mentality, trying to divide white people, like how Hitler tried to divide white people up. Like, you're not white. We all know Jewish people are white, right? We all know Jewish people are white unless they wear their cultural Jewish garb, or you say, you know what their name is, then you be like, oh, that person's Jewish. But you cannot tell that person's Jewish. If that article didn't mention the guy's name, he would not know he's African. So we all know white supremacy doesn't work like, oh, he's African, leave them alone. And he can't prove that. And alone, he's undermining his own point right here. There's no one meets Africans, or there's no Africans saying that, oh, we don't get discriminated. Well, there are a small segment of Africans saying that I've encountered on YouTube, not in real life. But there's no African majority of Africans or Caribbean people or people from South America that feel that way, that are black. So again, he's lying to y'all and undermining his whole point as those are them and we're us. So again, he's being a total fucking asshole right now. And me being a person of Caribbean descent, knowing other Caribbean people and some Africans, I am telling you, he is full of shit. Caribbean people, no matter if you're talking about Jamaica, Guyana, Antigua, St. Kitts, Barbados, Trinidad, and so on and so forth, all these people that I meet when we talk about politics, we're not like, they cops messed up that black person. Oh, thank God, it feels good to be a Trinidadian. Like, people look at you like you crazy, but y'all are stupid and kind of slow. So I get it. So I'm just gonna speak the truth, not my truth. But we're gonna let him talk and undermine his whole point.
But let me show you all the guy right here. This is the guy who's doing a lot of the gentrifying. A white Middle Easterner / Israeli. I don't know what he is exactly. Shaw Kuba. They said he's an Israeli, but his family, they're Arab. So a white Middle Easterner. Okay. So this guy is running $1 billion firm out here in Los Angeles. And what they're trying to do, Saul Kuba of the powerful real estate firm CIM is remaking scrappy West Adams according to his very particular vision. Some people just don't fit the picture. Okay? So now what this guy is doing, him working with the police, working with other developers and bought and paid for city council members, boy, they're getting black folks up out of these areas. Now, family, just a few days ago, me and my real estate people, we were looking at property on West Adams. There's a lot of distressed buildings out there that's for sale, and we were looking for some of those buildings. We were looking at some of those buildings on West Adams the other day, and they're giving us all types of run.
So you see what he's doing. We all see what he's doing. Because he lied about the property that he acquired. He told you that he acquired to build the museum. People's been on it, talking about it, calling him a scammer, obviously, calling him a thief and everything, according using his words, a finesse, and all this other stuff. You know, so now he has to come up, damn, I'm not giving anybody any results, not in the slightest. What I'm good at doing, I'm good at lying and drawing people's attention away from things that need to be attended to. So you see what he's doing now. He's making all these excuses. It's the government. Remember that? The government. See? And he's saying the same shit. That's how all FBA do is predict their own shit onto other people. Now he's saying it's the police, it's the government, it's the city of Los Angeles. And what he's doing? The government. It's the government. You know what I'm saying? It's the FBA, your white daddy government you're complaining about. So you're going to see how, you're seeing how he's tying his failure and his thievery into, well, hey, family, I'm trying over here, but they're not going to sell things to a black man. But remember, he said him and his realtor, right? And his realtor is a white boy. Fuck y'all niggas. His realtor is a white boy. So that $2 million, realtors get they get a percentage of it. So he making a white man rich, as usual. You know, like I said, it's probably his wife's cousin. He got white people in his family. So he's not against white supremacy. He lives with white supremacy. So anyway, as he said that him and his realtor they're looking for properties, right? So he's probably, like he said before, he has us thinking like, okay, what about that building? And the realtors go, all right, nigga, you stay here. I'm the white man. I'm representing you. You stay your black ass over here. I'll go in there and, do my little thing here and say, hey, this property looks great. How much you want here, That's how he has us thinking. But let's him continue his lies and how he's going to tie in to what's going on to his incapability of buying a museum.
Arounds. Right now. I'm talking about right now. They're giving us the runaround now on properties on West Adams. Again, they're doing the same thing in Lamert Park. They're giving a lot of black people the runaround when we want to buy the businesses or buy the buildings. So what they're doing, family, there's a tactic that they're doing right now. There's something that they have that they're putting on black people in California, Los Angeles in particular, called nuisance abatement injunctions. Now, what that is basically an I'm white and I say so policy. So if your area, if your home or your business is considered a nuisance, and that's arbitrary, and you're not doing anything about the nuisance, meaning abating the nuisance, then we're going to put an injunction on you. All right? So they have something called nuisance abatement injunctions. So let me show y'all how this works. Now, this one brother, he owned a liquor store out here. He still owns it. He owns a liquor store, Brother Sharif, the African immigrant brother. Now
the African immigrant is a brother. when he's on Twitter Space, he's dusty. They smell like cheetah piss and all these other things. Now he's a brother. Okay.
In this article right here, it says, in 2007, Cuba summoned Abdul Jamal Sharif, who owns a liquor store half a block from the Chevron station. He called him to a meeting on Wilshire Boulevard. He offered Sharif $2.6 million for his store because they want to tear the store down and build new buildings. And that's about 60% more than Sharif paid for the business back in 2005 and 2015. Well, Sharif told Cuba that he need to think about it. All right, the brother don't want to sell his business. He's like, hey, I work hard for it,
Yeah, like most immigrants, they work hard for it. They don't sell out like a lot of FBAs did. Most businesses that were black owned were, most black Americans, they had their own businesses while Jim Crow was happening, even way before Jim Crow was really applied, like the term. But once moment civil rights happened, and they could be up under white people and be all nestled up under the white man's nuts, because white ice is colder than black ice. They left all their businesses, and then they complained that other people filled that vacuum to open up businesses in black neighborhoods and other neighborhoods. Then they go walk around saying, they're taking over. No, stupid ass. You ran behind white people so much, right? You just happy that you're in the stores, and you just happy to be there, up in the restaurants and all that. Like I said, yeah, sorry about that. In the restaurants, in the schools, and everything. They left all their black institutions to be in white institutions. So, of course, you're going to have Africans and other people filling that vacuum that black Americans ran to. So, yes, that brother is not going to sell out like FBA sells out.
Don't want to sell his business. He's like, hey, I work hard for it. This is my joint. I'm here, so I want to keep my business. Now, a few weeks after the first meeting, Cuba called Sharif in again to close the deal. He said he promised Sharif he could continue to operate Holiday Liquor for another year or two until CIM tore it down. Sharif said he wasn't ready to sell. That's when everything blew up, he says. Cuba, that's the white Israeli Middle Easterner, exploded and called him a piece of crap. And he said CIM was just trying to help him because nobody wanted him on West Adams Boulevard anymore. So the white Israeli Arab guy cussed the brother out because he didn't want to sell. All right? Now, peep this. Now, 8 months after the meeting, because the brother didn't want to sell, all of a sudden, he got a complaint from the LA office. The city attorney accused him in a civil complaint of allowing Holiday Liquor to become an anchor point for the West Boulevard Crip gang on West Adams. The complaint cited 3 shootings and other crimes in the vicinity in the previous 2 years and described Holiday Liquor as, quote, a threat. The prosecutors asked the judge to grant an injunction compelling Sharif to abate the public nuisance. So, family, they're running this like the mafia right now. The Los Angeles, man, the people.
So, you heard Mr. Nasheed. So, we all know that's in Los Angeles. And in Los Angeles, you can see the correlation. Okay, black gangs, right? Black guy, which is an African, obviously. Oh, so they connect the dots that way. You see how I said white supremacy doesn't see us as different, but you have Tariq Nakoon, the wannabe black Hitler, the wannabe black grand wizard of the new chapter of the KKK, against black people, is saying, well, no, we're different from them. But you have an African cat right here. He's being targeted. by them. So the whole thing is you have FBA gangs. They're FBA gangs. So you see how, so it's fair for me to say that FBA degenerate, thuggish custom is hindering a straight, hardworking, honest immigrant who's trying to provide a service to the community, right? But no, he's going to let those Crips and Bloods and all those black Afro-American gangs just do their thing. He's not going to say, well, y'all niggas need to stop this thug life and all this other thing and stuff like that. You know, the place is being gentrified. You have these white Arab Israeli people coming in trying to take over the neighborhood. This is our few black people we have that own businesses here. We need to, come together and, keep this whatever little black business we have left because they're coming together. So we're not going to have a neighborhood anymore. No, he's not going to say that because he lets FBA get away with murder, even though they're undermining people that looks just like FBA. So this is your hero. This is your dude that y'all pick that's gonna take black people to the next level of freedom, as far as economic freedom and political freedom. This is your person right here, someone who's not gonna hold all people accountable. So he's gonna let FBA keep being FBA and keep banging and shooting over colors.
People running this city is running this joint like a criminal enterprise. If you don't take their offers that they can't refuse, they'll sit up and just put some bogus injunction on you. So now because there's gangs around the neighborhood, they're going to blame this brother for not doing anything about the so-called gang activity.
Why don't you do something about the gang activity? Your stupid, greasy, pumpkin head, waterhead asses in Los Angeles, right? It's in Los Angeles. Gang activity never did anything good in Los Angeles. It's been more of a hindrance to black people in California. Like the Crips and Blood that's like a plague. I'm out here in the East, and that shit reached all the way out here in the East. Like it's just ridiculous. Like you need to cut off we need to stop this blood and all these gangs. It shouldn't be commonplace that there's gangs here. You can't do this. You can't do that. Gangs hang out there. Gangs hang out that and yes, it is a conspiracy. I think the cops allows that because if they were really cracking down on gang activity, right? There will be gangs in secret. There won't be gangs in the open. There's gangs out here in New York and stuff like that, but they don't do or have anything to indicate that, hey, look, I'm part of a gang. You see what I'm saying? So, again, good immigrant African brother trying to do his thing, try to live the so-called American dream, and FBA is fucking it up, even for themselves.
That's the same thing they were doing to Nipsey Hussle, guys. Nipsey Hussle wasn't the only one. Nipsey wasn't the only one, ladies and gentlemen. That's the same thing they were doing to Nipsey. They were going up there, shaking down Nipsey, dragging them out, making them line up. This is when it was Sloss and Tees. Even before it became the Marathon store, but Nipsey...
And we know Nipsey Hussle is Eritrean, right? Another immigrant who has a business in Los Angeles, right, that doesn't want to sell. I'm not from Los Angeles. I don't know what's going on out there. But every time Tariq reports something, if I was to see Los Angeles through his eyes, I'm thinking the only people that own businesses there are Mexicans and Africans. Mexicans and Africans and white people. Why is that? I'm pretty sure black people were there since black people were there. I mean, if we go way back, probably since around like the late 1800s, and then obviously a couple of black Americans fled the South. They ran out of the South. They fled the South. He like to say FBA and they ran. Now you ran. FBA ran out the South. They ran out of the North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Mississippi, Nebraska, Tennessee, so on and so forth. Some parts of Texas, and they went further west to run away to go to different white people. Them white people over here, they bad. They sure is bad. I can't deal with it no more. I was going to California. I think there's none of them crackers over there. Psych. They ran. But anyway, let him continue.
State, he didn't let them punk him out, and they had to take him out. But this is what they're doing, guys. They're sitting up here saying that you're a public nuisance because of gang activity. Now, people are pointing out there's the Chevron station and the Asian nail shops and the Asian beauty supply stores and the Arab liquor stores. They're not doing it to them. They're not doing it to the Arab and Asian-owned liquor stores, and there's a bunch of so-called gang activity there. They're not putting them under the nuisance injunctions.
Again, what does that have to do with Tariq? He doesn't own anything over there. Your family member, a.k.a. white realtor, is doing all the footwork for you, if you're telling the truth. If they're giving it to white people and they're doing all these injunctions to black businesses, your white brother-in-law or cousin that's a realtor, whatever, should have no problem acquiring property. Because, again, you have to have two things, it seems like right now. The money and the right complexion. Right? He has all those things. What's his problem? Why can't he get the museum? All this is a deflection for you to be like, oh, so I guess he can't get the museum because look what's happening with all these nuisance ordinance, and they're not going to sell to anyone who's black because they're trying to get the black people out. But you have a white realtor, sir. You have a white realtor. You said yourself that you have your white realtor going out because you know how the game is out here, Oh, my lips so dry. Yeah, you dig, because, out here, white supremacy, they don't want to sell nothing to no black man. No, you can't say that now. You have a white realtor and you have the money. This is a lame-ass excuse of why you stole from people. And that's all it is. You stole from people and you're trying to throw them a bone, give them some sort of comfort like, no, family. I didn't steal from y'all. I just can't acquire anything. I mean, I lied the first time. But no, this time for real. I'm looking on West Adams and I can't find anything. Because people who have a business that look like me are being gentrified, even though I'm using a white realtor that's probably my family. He can't get any property. Nothing can sell anything to me. Like, come on now. Are you FBA followers really that fucking stupid? Y'all really that gullible?
Okay. This is how scandalous is getting out here in Los Angeles. Hold on. Right here, they say the Chevron station and other liquor stores a block away, both with extensive crime problems of their own, face no restrictions. This order would kill business, Sharif said. He said Cuba used allies in the city council. They sicked them on him. It was complete harassment to make me give up and sell the property. With their racist and bullying and intimidating ways of doing it, that option is gone. So yeah, they're just bullying people to sell now. It's getting crazy out here. And there was another brother, and this isn't just him, another black man, a 74-year-old disabled veteran who used to live on the second floor. CIM paid him $9,000 to move. They said if I didn't take it, they'd evict me. Now, Mr. Rose now splits his weeks sleeping in his car and at a single room occupancy hotel. That money was gone in no time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why we see so many homeless black people out here.
But we need a museum. There's a lot of homeless black people out here. That's why we need a museum. We don't need a senior care center for our elderly. We don't need affordable housing for our people. We don't need like a supermarket for our people. We don't need a hospital or a clinic. You know what I'm saying? Things that black people need. We don't need none of that. We need a museum. Gotcha. And y'all fools go along with this dumb shit.
They will do it. But we got to understand, family, there's a lot of folks out here who are just not built like us. They're not really trying to fight white supremacy. They're not trying to go after white supremacy. We're the ones trying to really get that stopped. We're the ones trying to stop that. And again, when a lot of folks come over here, they come around us and they bring a lot of their psychosis. They bring a lot of their tether problems, their tether issues that they try to infuse on us.
Again, so here we are. Again, him attacking not one specific type of immigrant, all immigrants. And I'm not really too concerned about all immigrants in that manner, because he's hyper-focused, laser-focused only on the black ones, right? So he lied in saying that they're the only ones fighting against white supremacy. So I'm going to break it down in two ways as far as how I see racism, white supremacy. It's good that we have to defend white supremacy and call it out, right? But he's trying to make it seem like, which it's not true, that he's gonna end white supremacy and stuff like that. You can't end white supremacy. A black person cannot end white supremacy. What do I mean by that? Let's put it another way. It's like someone that's addicted to drugs. They have a codependency on whatever that vice may be, whether it be crack, cocaine, or whatever. You know, so you could tell them and point out, hey, look, this is not good for you. It's going to destroy you. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, you don't OD yet. Yeah, sure, you got it under control. And you being around these, you know, a person that's addicted, you know, they're not a very functioning, you know, it's affecting their life. It's affecting their everyday. It's affecting their relationships and things like that. You could be there. You could point it out. You could combat it. You could talk about how, hey, this is destroying your life. You could say, hey, look what's going on with the relationship with your children. And say, hey, look, you lost your job. Hey, look, you're divorced. And all these other things. You can't do anything unless that person wants to change. And that's what white supremacy is. White supremacy is a system that white people have created to give them an advantage in every aspect of life, right? So once they're hooked on that disadvantage that they give other people and that advantage that they give to themselves, once they're hooked on that, right, it's up to them to come out of it, to let them know morally that what they're doing is wrong. What they're doing is something that is not fair and is a sort of system that you have in place that you feel that you're better than humanity, or even worse, you're so weak that you have to put systems in place to give you advantages because you're afraid to compete fairly, right? So you can't force people to change a system, especially to change the behavior. You cannot force the crackhead to be a person that's, I'm not going to do drugs no more. You cannot force them in that way. They have to come to terms. Even if you try to force them, they have to come to terms that I need to stop this. So that's my whole thing when it comes to that, when we're going to fight racism. When no, most black people, especially black Americans, are reactive, not proactive when it comes to racism. You know, we'll be there, be in the corner, y'all mind your business, don't do anything. Moment some a white person does something to harm us, then it's, oh, we gotta get up and do something now, and then that would be last for probably a month or so, and that energy dissipate, just dies down, and then it's like, okay, back in our corner again, unable to react. So he's lying. As far as the immigrant element, he's gonna laser focus on black immigrants only. And this is how you know Tariq Nasheed is an agent, or he's an agent provocateur. And even if he's not an agent, that's even worse. At least he has a sleazy, legitimate reason to be an agent. If he's not an agent, then that's like, wow, you really don't give a fuck about black people. Because you're not even getting really well. I mean, he's getting paid on the side. I mean, as far as his followers just giving him money for talking shit, saying, because, like I said, his followers are not intelligent people. I have spoken to the majority of them. You got the ones that are just stupid, and the ones that are kind of stupid, and the ones that would kind of defend his points, but not to the T, but they still follow his rhetoric. So he's going to laser focus on other black people. He's not fighting white supremacy. What he's doing, if he was fighting white supremacy, he will go in and all the Canadians that come here, all the Europeans that come here. It's not like, okay, United States, like Europeans just stay in Europe and they don't go to the United States, they don't do none of that. That's absolutely not true. You have people from all over the world coming into the United States. And like I stated before in my other videos, right, for hundreds of years, you had a huge influx of Europeans coming, all the way back from the 1800s to the 1900s until the Civil Rights Bill revamped the Immigration Act. You had way more white people coming in, but failed bitch-ass Americans weren't complaining about all the white people coming in, and they still not complaining about all the white people coming in now. So, again, cowardness and jealousy. You're too coward to go take that fight to the white man, but you could take it to someone who looks like you.
We don't need to be around that type of stuff. We got to be focused, ladies and gentlemen. We as foundational black Americans, we have to get tangibles for us. We don't have time for no kumbaya with nobody. We don't have no time for no fake Pan-Africanism, no fake black and brownism.
How is Pan-Africanism fake? How is Pan-Africanism fake? And like I said, you can't even talk to this dude because you go on his Twitter space, or he does his mute. His co-host is the mute button. Because he's just a punk. He's a coward. He will not let you get your questions in. So you can't even really ask him. So how is Pan-Africanism fake when Pan-Africanism is a two-way street, and in my experience and his experience in the past has benefited from Pan-Africanism? What do I mean by that? He has claimed many times when he left the United States and go overseas that the Africans were very hospitable, that they were very welcoming, right? That they would do what they can to help him out if he choose to do something. And that's how it is. And when Africans come over here, some Caribbeans and African Americans have fought for civil rights, and they got those little benefits that we have, and they benefit from that. And when, as far as like Harlem goes, you have a lot of, I mean, you got way more Africans owning those stores than you would Black Americans owning those stores. So what we would do, we'd patronize their stores, we go to their stores and things like that. And like he said in this article, you have that African brother over there owning a business, not wanting to sell out, like how the Black Americans always sell out, right? So that is Pan-Africanism. Black people looking out for each other no matter where we go, like how all other groups do. European Pan-Europeanism will pretty much be, hey, I'm an Irishman, yeah, but I'm white. Hey, but I'm going to I don't know, Holland. I'm going to France and I want to open a business, right? And we know you go in Europe, they got all those other, you got people that got different businesses. They're not all French, but hey, there's French people that did things there so that they can have legitimate businesses as white people, right? And France, as we all know, they're very racist too. What they're doing in Africa, and you got a lot of Africans in France as well, right? But an Irishman could go there and have way better fortune and have better opportunities, not because he's Irish, it's because he's white. And white people is team white and there's team black. And French people understand that. European people understand that. So that's Pan-Europeanism. So to say that that is stupid and is dead, he is lying to you. And the people that believe that are Negro Americans that's probably in the backwoods somewhere that don't interact with people. They don't live in the cities or places where they can interact with people of the world, or they're just ignorant and don't know nothing about them. So, another lie he's telling.
None of that fake kumbayaism. It's too many folks are already tainted from other places. We got to focus on us.
Wait, other folks are tainted from other places. So again, I like to hold this mirror. When people talk about other people, I like putting this mirror right in front of them. So nobody's perfect, no, right? But I'm talking about the African and the diaspora aspect of what he's saying. How are you better or different from a continental African or someone from the diaspora? African Americans are from the diaspora. So we have to look at it in two different ways. Are you saying you are better than African even though you're African descent? Or are you saying you're better than the rest of the diaspora? What is he saying really? Tainted. We're all have the same enemy as far as white supremacy, right? We just established that, right? It's common sense to white supremacy for white supremacy to be on one accord playing team white so we could have systematic white supremacy be more productive for people that look like white people. So we know that. So how does that fit into what he's saying as far as we're better when we have the same enemy? So this is plantation talk. He is a house Negro, happen to be in the house, thinking that he's in a better position and that he is better because his master's plantation is bigger. The house is wider. I guess to sleep in the attic, the basement, like Malcolm X said, you feel good. And you feel better. Well, I'm better off than them field niggas. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to work all day in the sun from sun up to sundown. I don't got to get whipped. Me, I'm better because I'm all up next to Master. And Master don't treat me so bad. I gets to wear nice clothes.
I'll be next to Mary Sue. I'll play with the little white chillins. You know, I get the baked biscuits and fried chicken and macaroni and cheese. You know, we invented that, right? You know, because that's our culture. White master culture is our culture, right? So this is how he feels, right? As far as continental Africans and the other people of the diaspora, we have. So what does he mean by tainted? I could only, make it. I ain't gonna say speculate, make an educated guess based upon his past rhetoric of what he's saying. So a lot of Africans, and I said this in my other videos, and Caribbeans have contributed a humongous amount to Black America. We didn't just get here 40 years ago, 50 years ago. We've been here since the early 1800s. Not the early 1800s, since the late 1800s, going into the 19th century. And we have, Marcus Garvey is a very good example. I'll use Marcus Garvey. I'll use Arthur Schomburg. I'll use all these people that has been here before civil rights has been here and has contributed to Black society. So what does he mean by tainted? It's just house Negro babble. That's all that it is.
People say, well, what about Black people? We all one big Black family. No, we can't do that right now. We don't have time to pick and choose which one of you are on the Jollof Coon train. Like this right here. Did y'all see this? I posted this up earlier.
Again, you see, it doesn't take long. This is where he's going. That's why he's a fucking coward. He doesn't go in on white people like this. He doesn't do that. You know what I'm saying? He can't go in like that because his family's white. He got white people in his goddamn family. How you got someone who's supposed to be pro-Black, chooses a mulatto wife, has white family, all up under white people, only dip his toe a little bit talking about white people, but goes in hard on Black people that look like him. You see the confusion? You see how it doesn't make any sense? Now he's going in, like I said, it didn't take long. Now he's going in on Africans and Jollof Coon train and how he has right over here. I'll let him finish. And I was going again with his projection and hypocrisy.
To some woman, and she's in the UK. I don't even think she's over here, but she's in the UK. This is a non-FBA woman, probably from Nigeria somewhere. I think she's from Nigeria, but she's living in the UK. She said this: I literally saw a guy that looked like Jesus. I couldn't hold back, and I had to ask if anyone told him he looked like Jesus. He laughed and said a number of times, "He is so fine." Family, and you see the $3 divestment wig and the contact lenses. What are we gonna do with what we?
Again, whew, there's a lot to unpack, and I know whoever is listening to me, I'm gonna. He's like, oh wow, you said this already. Why? Because he keeps doing the same thing. So we're going in on religion now. Oh boy. Let's do this. Let's do this. This is what I do. Let's do this. So, at the end, what we're gonna do with these folks? Again, saying that Nigerians, always picking on Nigerians. Like, this nigga is fucking stupid as hell. There's like 52 countries in Africa, and he always picks on the Nigerians. I don't get it. The person is never from the Cameroon, never from Sierra Leone, he's never from the Gambia, he's never from Ghana, he's never from Guinea, he's not from, he's never from the Congo. Nigerians. It's like, what the hell? So he just pulling shit out of his stupid ass. Like, Nigerians. So you're gonna tell me that Black Americans are not infatuated with white Jesus?
they're not mesmerized Christians. They're not Christians who will fight you tooth and nail if you talk about my God. Isn't it not true that the churches are filled with black women? Isn't it not true you go to churches, you go to FBA churches, and they don't got white Jesus there? Is that what you telling me? No way you're not telling me that. No way you're not telling me that. Like, Christianity was spread in this country with the whip. With the whip or the noose? How you want it, nigga? The whip or the noose? That's how Christianity was given to black people in the so-called New World. It was that was true of Africans. That was true of Native Americans on this side of the globe. That's how we receive Christianity. But no, these Nigerians, right? So I understand the whole divester's wig. I think that's his little way of saying, like, I'm gonna wear this wig. I guess it's a wig or a part of the costume of I'm not messing with black men no more and things like that. I think it's something along those lines, which again, what I'll say to that, not saying there's not a segment of black women that do that, but most of these women are African American, like your Cynthia G's and all these other people. They're not Nigerians, and your everyday, average, failed bitch ass Americoon, aka FBA, right? So again, miss me with that bullshit, right? And again, just to reiterate, I'm gonna keep on saying this. His wife is a product of bedwenching and a man being buckbroken, because his wife is a mulatto. She's a half-breed, right? So if it wasn't for her father bed bucking around with Sally and Karen, he wouldn't have a wife. Like, Negro, be grateful that was happening. And come to think of it, if that's the case, his kids ain't even FBA. His wife is not even FBA. Because, he likes to play the FBA genetic hopscotch of, well, if one of your parents is FBA, that means you're FBA. And they be like, well, no, you don't know, you ain't FBA. Oh, you an anchor. You just an anchor baby. You just a tether. You ain't no FBA. Just your parents just had, your father or your mother just had you just to anchor you here, or, whatever. So he plays this FBA genetic hopscotch. So yeah, then he may not. His kids are not even FBA. His wife is not even FBA. So it's like, really, you'll follow this shit? This is ridiculous. So, and then he goes into, she got contacts and stuff like that. You know how many, like, I shouldn't even say that. You know how many black American women put in contacts all the time from black celebrities that are black American to everyday black American women? It's like, dude, your audience is that dense? Is that dense? So you're trying to separate us by just pointing out similarities that Nigerians have with black Americans. And most Nigerians, if you see where we came from, a lot of us came from Nigeria and those regions. for those reasons. So you're literally trying to split up your own people. If you do your DNA and stuff and things like that, black Americans, if they, once they look over that they're 20% white or 50% white, maybe that's the disconnection. Maybe black Americans, they white side is fighting the majority of their black side. I think that's why they confused, right? As for me, I'm 98% African. I'm 1% Native American, and I'm 1% Irish. I'm not even nowhere close to double digits, let alone 5%. So anyway, that's besides the point. Maybe that's the problem what's going on right now. So again, by him pointing out these differences, he's pointing out to similarities that these Nigerians have with Americans.
Gonna build with that. Family, what are we gonna build with that? What are we gonna build with this? What in the world are we gonna build with that? We can't build nothing with that. Let's just keep it a buck. We can't build nothing with that. These bed wenches and bootlicks, we can't do nothing with that.
Stop talking about your wife's father like that. Him a bootlick, a bed wench, a bed buck. Stop talking about your wife's father like that. What is wrong with you? Stop talking about your wife's father like that. You know what I'm saying? So basically your wife is a product of fucking weakness, and you build something with your wife. So stop lying to the people that you can't build nothing with these people. Especially this woman is more black than your wife. This woman is 100% black genetically. Right? She's not a product of bed bucking and bed wishing, even though she has the potential, right? But let's pray she can be saved. Hopefully she can be saved, like a lot of sisters that are Christians and into white boys, right? And don't get to the point of actually going with them and having someone like your wife. So you can't have it both ways. You cannot hate black women or black people that procreate with white people, and you go right up under them and marry them. Word on the street, you knew your wife before while she was barely legal. I heard you was on some R. Kelly shit. So Negro, you were waiting, stalking out the high school when you like 36, when stalking out the high school. Like, oh yeah, she look good. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's either here or there, but that's the word. You know what I'm saying? Because we know she mad young. He doesn't divulge how old she is, but we all know she young. He's on some R. Kelly shit, right? But again, he's just pointing out similarities.
And they worship white zaddy too damn much. These non-FBA folks, if you look at TikTok, they worship white zaddy. They bring over a lot of their anti-black male sentiments because over...
No. Let me let him finish.
Where they're from, there's a lot of janky stuff going on with the dudes. Let's keep it a buck. A lot of janky stuff going on over there with the dudes. Here's the video. Let me show you. This is another video. I think...
Before I let him get into the bullshit, so he's talking about Africa. And so he's probably talking about Nigerians. What does he mean by janky things going on there with the dudes? This is him again. This is why FBA is a hate group. You're attacking the culture. Now, if you want to pull a picture up of that individual sister and say, hey, look, she's being a bedouin, she's doing this, she's doing that, da-da-da-da, okay. Got no problem with that. But when you say, look at all of them, you're being hateful towards a group of people. You are being indifferent in a negative way towards a group of people. Right? You see, I mean, I don't know if you ever guys heard of the saw a documentary. Is pretty much the hate that taught you to hate. I forgot the hate that taught hate. Oh, I'm probably messing up the title, but it's something I'm paraphrasing, right? He's doing the same thing that white people did to them. So he knows no other way to combat his issues or problems. So what does he do? He does the same thing that his white daddy does, that Uncle Sam does. Use the same tactic, but on his own people, right? But anyway, going back to what I was saying, like in Nigeria, the men are not, he's trying to say Nigerian men are weak, so they gotta go to white women. Like Nigerians and the women in there's no not like here, there's no clash of gender. So you can learn a lot from Nigeria and Nigerians and Africans as a whole. There's no gender clash, right? There's no gender clash. If you go to Ghana and Nigeria, there is, how should I put it? There is I don't want to say gender roles, but I want to say that everyone understand their role, and it's not like, well, because you do this, I'm better than you, and you do that, I'm not as good as you. So in Ghana, the women run the markets. They're the business owners. The men will go out and facilitate whatever goods that the women are selling and things like that to make sure they have the goods in order to sell in their market, right? There was an actual revolt, unlike Black American women. I don't want to take anything away from Black American women because we're all the same, but you want to play this game of we're better than you. Unfortunately, you led me to this way. You got me in the corner, so I'm gonna have to say it. Black American women, without their black men, only stood up to fight against. Anything they fought against was black men. With the feminist movement. Nothing like that ever happened in Nigeria, where you had a whole bunch of women, or a good segment about a woman saying, I don't like this man is my problem. You had women in Nigeria, right, that ran the markets, and they didn't like what the white people were doing as far as taxing them and putting all these things to make it harder for them, to make a living. And those women revolted and fought white people, and the men joined them too. Because remember, it was the women that were being targeted because they're the face, they're the ones running those markets and their small little businesses. So the men was like, okay, this is what's happening to you. This is what they're doing. This is what we're gonna do. But it was mostly women, because women owned their shit, and then men supported them, and vice versa. When have African American women fought against white men, fought against anything by themselves that didn't include fighting against black men? Crickets. It was either black women were fighting with white men, and then the feminist movement came, and then they separated themselves from their man, and they started fighting black men and believing what the white man told them. So what do you mean janky things is going on in, I'm going to say Nigeria, because you like to pick on Nigeria, so we're going to talk about Nigeria. What do you could take a lesson and have some Nigerians school you on how to be a man, how black American women could be a woman and secure the real tribe. But no, we're not going to do that. He's talking out of ignorance, and he's talking foolishness because he doesn't know history, right? He doesn't know history. He don't like Umar Johnson, but Umar Johnson knows more history than him. Umar Johnson knows so much history that he had him in Hidden Colors, right? As a source of information, of historical information. So this guy's a damn joke. You want to start putting up Nigerian women against African American women? No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Why do you do that to your own people? You're making black women look bad.
This is in the UK too. And this woman put this video up as a flex. And I want y'all to see this right here. And I won't play the audio because you can't hear what's in it. But this is what she said. She was at the gym. A brother tried to put a mat under her feet. Right here. Now look at this, and a lot of people are clowning her. She thought this was a flex, and a lot of people are clowning her. But she said right here, I was working out in the corner, and a man randomly came and attempted to shove a mat underneath me because it'll be more comfortable. If he asked whether I wanted it, I wouldn't mind, but I think abruptly doing so and invading my space is weird, even if you're just being nice. So now she thought this was some kind of flex right here. She looks like a clown. See, and let me say this. A lot of these folks with that janky ass mentality like that, these are normally non-FBA folks. Notice a lot of these fake feminists who come up.
What? This is how desperate he is to. This doesn't mean nothing. That doesn't mean anything. She's probably just a B word. She's probably just being a B. She's probably just being a bitch. She's probably just generally a bitch. Right? A guy tried to sow some chivalry. Right? Maybe he liked her. And I was like, hey, let me help this sister out. You know, whatever. You know, that's possible. Right? And she didn't like it because she wants to be difficult. She wants to be angry for whatever reason, for whatever hang-up she has. What does that have to do if she's out? I don't see anything here that indicates that she's in the UK, so unless he's saying black Americans don't travel, well, okay, yeah, all right. Most black Americans don't travel globally. That is very true, right? So he's like, oh, they gotta be if they're black, they gotta be from an African country or something like that. You know, we're not afraid to get up and get out, right? We're global, right? And have a homeland that's doing better, have a GDP, and black Americans don't have a GDP, don't have it. Anyway, that's besides the point. But this is a stretch. This is a reach. That's how hateful he is. That's how hateful failed broken Americans are, aka FBA. Like this is a stretch, and he's gonna go into it even more.
Here, usually a lot of them are non-FBA coming over here talking about brothers can't walk up and say hi to them and all of this stuff. These were the ugly chicks in class when they were kids. They had those.
Again, that's a lie. That's a lie. Being raised in America on the East Coast, right? Been on the East Coast from Massachusetts to Florida and everything in between to Cali, right? I lived in these places. I visited these places, and black American women act the same goddamn way. Especially if you're from New York, depending where you're from, depends where the chicks are from New York. Like certain places in New York, growing up, you're like, you know, certain chicks, Queens chicks from Queens, they a little bougie. Chicks from Long Island, they kind of bougie and shit like that. But the real chicks, you talk to them, be like, yo, what's up? You know what I'm saying? You try to holler at them, you know what I'm saying? The Brooklyn chicks, the girls from Uptown, the Bronx and stuff like that, they a little bit, in my experience, in my generation, you know, they're a little bit more cool and more easy to talk to. You know what I'm saying? If anyone wants to talk to me, if y'all wants to talk to me, y'all swear up and down I'm American, right? So I used to get a lot of American chicks. So I know what I'm talking about. I'm not speculating. I'm telling you what I've lived, right? And to go even further, I lived in Georgia. I lived in Virginia and all these places, right? Again, the girls there, they're different. They're easy to talk to. They don't have attitudes and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Some do. You know what I'm saying? Some do, but from a New York comparison, they're a little bit more easier to talk to. Some of them might have an attitude or whatever. So this is how silly and petty he is, saying that most black American women, you could approach them. You could approach them in that same way. I'm like, what? Like what? That makes no sense. That absolutely makes no sense. And anyone that's been to Africa, the people in general are friendly. The people in general are friendly. Ask anyone that's been to Africa, the people in general are friendly. So again, he's saying this to his audience that are not well traveled, mildly retarded, and jealous of other black people. So it's gonna resonate with them. But nah, I'm calling the bullshit out.
Yankee little divestment wigs going to school. They were clowns, so they think now that they become an adult, this is their time to kind of get revenge on dudes based on their janky tether upbringing. This is a weird, crazy kind of flex. Most FBA women ain't like that. Now let's be clear. This woman right here, if it was a white man trying to get...
How does he know? You know most women? I don't know most women. You can only talk to your experience. He doesn't know most black American women, because if he did, he wouldn't say that. And if he does, he's lying. Again, anybody, beware of anybody who makes generalizations. Be aware of anybody who makes generalizations for anything or anyone. That's a red flag right there. That's a red flag right there. No different than Uncle Sam, your white dad, slave master. All niggers are, what was it? All niggers are not human. They're subhuman. Why is that? Why are they subhuman? Well, they ain't that smart, you know. The niggers ain't that smart, you know. Okay. You can't. They could. We don't teach them how to read because they could barely read. All they know is ooga ooga booga 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 booga. That's all they know. Black man ends up reading. Okay, white supremacy, move the goalposts. Well, some of them could read. We gave them the Bible, and we got good preachers that can read the Bible. Yeah, but they really can't take care of themselves. Even during Abraham Lincoln, when he was talking about Emancipation Proclamation, he was against slavery, but just thought that, hey, that's just how the cookie crumbles. He really didn't want to do anything to change it. And one of the reasons why he didn't want to do anything to change it, he's like, okay, it is unfortunate, but black people are like children. If we were to give them freedom, they won't know what to do. They don't know how to take care of themselves because they're used to having the white man take care of them. I mean, that's kind of true in certain aspects, but we knew it was false as far as like, hey, look, I know I have to get up every day and work for a living because I have to feed myself. I have to clothe myself. I have a family I have to take care of. And black people were able to do that. Black Americans were able to do that on their own, right? So again, another racist trope that has been dispelled because of what ignorant racist people that make generalizations about other people, and what Tariq Nakoon is doing is no different. You're making all these generalizations about people that you don't know. So this is why failed bitch-ass Americoons, aka FBA, is a hate group. And Tariq Nasheed is their leader.
Her a match, she'd be up here praising him and bowing down to him. But these are non-FBA people who got a lot of issues from their homeland. They have a lot of self-identity issues. They have a lot of inferiority complexes as far as the way they look, colorism issues that they bring over here.
But what inferiority complex, identity? Are you kidding me? Coming from Black Americans are Christians, they're Muslims, they're Moors, they're Hebrew Israelites, they're Native American, they're fucking space aliens, they're everything but being African. There was one point in time I'll say from the 70s spilling over into the 80s, Black Americans for a brief moment, not a lot of us, was a good segment of us, was proud to be African, right? And that was very short-lived. But the majority at that time, we were several things at the same time. What is he talking about? Identity issues. These African countries, there's a difference. African Americans experience white supremacy directly, right? White man breathing on your neck, white man molesting you and raping you. That's how African Americans experience white supremacy. You adopting their culture, because African American culture is European culture, with little hints and little hints and little jewels, little tiny jewels of African culture, right? So, what are you talking about? That makes no sense. Africans experience white supremacy through proxy. They're in your country, right? The military aspect is in the African country. They're running the government, right? And other positions of power, but they're not breathing down your necks, destroying your culture, telling you what religion you should have, right? Even though they push it on you, but we still practice our religion. They're not systematically trying to destroy your identity, and for you keeping your identity the way that white Americans did Black Americans, as far as like destroying them as a person. And that's what a nigga is. I said a nigga is nothing but a broken African, because America had to do. They were in the business. This is the nigga factory, right? The diaspora. What Europeans try to do were to create niggas. So the Americas was the nigga factory. That's where niggas came from. You take an African, you break them, and how do you break them? Make him a Christian. Make him hate himself. Like, come on now. I hope my audience, people who listen to me, are smart enough to know this. We all know about how white supremacy and what the standard of beauty is in America. It's been like that since we've been here. That's why you got people like Lil' Kim and Queen Latifah and Beyonce and Sierra and Serena Williams bleaching and all these other products to more favor themselves. We know why. You got a lot of Black American women trying to get all types of hair besides their own hair. Black women spend more money. Black American women spend more money in the so-called beauty supplies with hair that's not their own, hair that does not resemble them. So who has the inferiority complex? Who has the white God worship here? So when you compare, he thinks because white supremacy did this to Black Americans, the same thing happens to Nigerians and other continental Africans, which is not true. It's different. We Africans still know who we are. We still have a culture that is our own and has not been tainted to the point where you don't know who you are, what you were 400 or 500 years ago. That's the African American experience. That's the diaspora experience. So again, he's projecting his American trauma onto African people. There's no white people there. Like in certain, if we talk about the diaspora in certain places of Africa, there's some places in Africa right now to this day, even if you go back a couple years ago, they never seen a white person. They know of white people, never seen a white person. But that's his FBA projection, being around white people all the time, knowing his people worship white people in every way, form, fashion. They worship white people because they try to live up to the standard of white beauty. They worship white businesses because white ice is better than black ice. They worship white people as far as their style of dress. Oh, I'm gonna get me a Gucci belt, nigga. Oh, he'll figure it out, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I got me an Escalade, I got me a Benz. Everything Germanic and European is what a black American wants. Because those are your people. Those are the people who you grew up around with. So don't project your trauma onto other Africans and the diaspora.
Here, and then they have to kind of flex on folks. It's just real weird. Just a real weird dynamic. And I don't want foundational black Americans to get put under this type of banner. Yeah, that's a female incel. Somebody hit it right. Most FBA women ain't like that. I give our sisters credit. They're not assholes just for the sake of being an asshole. If somebody's being nice, most sisters over here courteous. Thank you, brother. Most sisters, they just keep it pushing like that. But this whole thing where somebody, they're invading my...
That's a lie. And all men know that's a lie. If you're a man and you out there, you travel, you've been around, most black women are not like that. You go on other platforms, right? As far as like you go on a Kevin Samuels platform and you hear how the men talk about black women, or just other panels that are just strictly about, black men and women dating and us trying to understand each other. The problem is most black men will say, hey, look, black women, hey, look, I'm not even approaching this sister all crazy. I mean, a sister in a grocery store and, I'll say hi, I'll smile to her and stuff like that. And she just have a stink attitude. So he's lying. He's lying. You don't know most black women in America. I mean, you get a post for it. And if you get a post for it to say most don't, that's ridiculous.
My God, you've aggrieved me. You're invading my space. Oh, it's so weird. I'm just so uncomfortable. Oh, stop. These are people, again, these are people who come from these forced female circumcision societies. So look, I get it, but hey, man.
Again, oh jeez. Again with the hate speech, more hate speech. So how he plays safe is like, well, I'm gonna say something about your culture. Again, he doesn't know this woman is African. She could be a woman from the Americas living in Britain, whatever. Doesn't even matter at this point. So, and this is how Europeanized, as weird as this may sound, Tariq Nasheed is. He has an Arabic name. This is how you know he ain't woke or he's that knowledgeable. He has an Arab name, right? And we all know that the Arab slave trade was, next to the Atlantic slave trade, was one of the most horrific things that happened to Africa. But he's gonna take on, he's gonna go from Marcus, his name is Marcus, from having from having a white name to having, I'm gonna be really woke, to having an Arab name. No disrespect to my African brothers and sisters who are in Islam. I'm pretty sure you got the best of intentions. Same thing for my black Christian family, but it is what it is. I'm not going to be an apologist for it, history is history, and Islam and Christianity was spread through with the sword. With the Arab, with the white Arab, was you're either gonna take the Quran or you get the sword. The Christians, the white man was like, you're gonna take this Bible or you get this noose. And that's just all what it is. But anyway, that's besides the point. I am saying, so you have a culture. So when he says that, now female circumcision in that particular African group, not all Africans do that. I forgot the name of the people that did that. I'm not even going to try to waste time trying to think about it. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I'll put it in the description. They used to do that, yes, and certain customs are barbaric. Not everybody has the same customs as they did when they first started out, right? Because it outgrew. It's like, hey, look, this is not a good thing. We need to stop this. So he has all these 1970s, 1980s racist African tropes, right? And it's understand because FBA is a hate group. It's like you're talking, when he says these things, like talking to a white person, it's like talking to a white racist. It's like talking to a white racist, right? So that's fine, but that's not done anymore. That has been outlawed. This how you know he's being a hate monger just to be a hate monger, right? That has been outlawed. You can no longer do that, right? But this is how Europeanized he is. So female circumcision is bad, but male circumcision is good. Yeah, you see that? Like, circumcision is usually is done for two reasons, right? And it's by choice. First reason is religious purposes, right? Because, you know, as again, I'm only going to tell the truth. It's in the Bible saying that, hey, you know, all God's people and His chosen people, they should be known by them being circumcised. Those are some of the things you have to do as a Jew in order to honor God's covenant with man and circumcise yourself and all this other bullshit. But hey, God is perfect, but He made you imperfect. Even though the Bible says we are a likeness of God. But God's going to say, I fucked up. Cut the tip off of your dick. So it's hypocritical, but he doesn't see it that way because he thinks he's white. He wants to be white, but try to hold on to some type of semblance of blackness. That's why he got him a lot of wife and a white family, right? But at the same time, that is strictly religious. First point. The second one is hygiene. They say, hey, it's a little bit more hygienic if you were to do it. You're able to maintain, you know, the hygiene of your penis if we were just to cut it off or whatever and stuff like that. But it's a choice. It's not something that needs to be done, right? It's a choice. But that's not barbaric, and that's okay because that's a white ideology, right? So I'm not condoning female circumcision. I'm just saying to say, again, the mirror. You want to talk about other people's culture, but but without putting the mirror up to your own European, Hebrew, more Christianity, Islamic, indigenous heritage, right? So he's being very disingenuous about that whole female circumcision as well as outdated.
And Don't bring that over here. I get it. Some of y'all were forced to do a bunch of crazy stuff back in your homeland. But hey, don't put that on FBA sisters. I'll say that. Don't put that on FBA sisters. Even if a sister's not interested in somebody, at least we as Foundational Black, we can talk to each other without there being some crazy stuff, which is good with us. We can strike up a...
That's a lie. That's another lie. Like, wait, hold on. You guys remember this? Black men were doing this so much. Some black men don't know how to talk to women. Men in general sometimes don't know how to talk to women. Women sometimes don't even know how to be a lady and talk to a gentleman. Remember Queen Latifah did Unity? UNITY! UNIT! Who you calling a bitch? Like y'all don't remember that? Y'all don't remember that? That's I don't think Queen Latifah was saying, hey, let's look at that video again. I don't think she was like, well, I was walking down the street, I saw some black American men, they was cool, they was trying to holler at me and stuff like that, and I was like, no thank you, I'm fine, I'm with my girlfriends right now, and I really don't want to partake in any fornicating or conversing with you right now at this moment. Oh, so sorry, my lady, I did not mean to offend. Oh, no problem, my kind young black American. Okay. African. What up, bitch? What's up? What's up with that ass, though? The fuck? Yo, come over here. I got something for you. Holding his crotch. Yo, N-I-T-Y. That's not how the shit went. It didn't go like that. Let's see how it went real quick. Like, so he is lying. He is lying, like, and y'all let him get away with this shit. Y'all let him get away with it. And that's the thing that's like so frustrating. You know, it's like, and that's how, you know, his followers are cowards. Because what did Martin Luther King said? Silence is betrayal. Right? The fact that you guys are keeping silence and letting him just lie and don't check him on it shows that you guys are very disingenuous to the point where you just have to let your leader just hate and tell lies on your people and other black people.
Conversation, and it's a conversation. It ain't about to get creepy. It's a lot of these non-FBA folks, they ain't no game. A lot of the dudes are game goofy, and the women got crooked wigs and they're insecure about their wigs, and it's just a big ball of insecurity, and everybody's trying to get something from each. It's weird. Don't put that on us. You put me in a room full of FBA brothers and sisters, man, we can chop it up and we good. Foundational Black American men and women, we can just have regular conversations without there being some kind of...
No, you can't. And that's what Kevin Samuels and a lot of other people talk about. If that's the case, why does it, like, see how he pivots and he lies? Why is he complaining about gender wars, about these black women and these gender wars? Right? What, you know what I'm saying? What about the Me Too movement? There's a lot of black American women that's a part of the Me Too movement. What about the feminist movement? The feminist movement had nothing but black American women in the feminist movement. What is this fool talking about? And y'all don't check him on this blatant, obvious lie? Like y'all don't understand your own history? I'm an immigrant that grew up here, so-called immigrant. Yeah, I'm an immigrant. A long line of immigrants that came here that put work in some places where black Americans didn't put work in, but a lot of black Americans, you know, supported, you know, our endeavors, a lot of Africans and Caribbeans endeavors, because back then it was about being black. That's it, period. You're on the same mission as me, we good. We doing the same thing. We in the same boat. We could do that. Know what I'm saying? So what is he talking about? And y'all let him get away with this.
Weird subliminal threat going on. Good God, man, y'all keep that where y'all come from. But again, man, like I said, we're on our own. We are on our own, ladies and gentlemen. We got to do things on our own. We got to handle business on our own. And, you know, we got people among us that, you know, we've already put on the outs.
No, you guys, no. Black Americans are not alone. Black Americans have allies from the Caribbean, Central America, South America, and Africa. Through blood and most of the times, a great deal of the times, through intermingling. Because you got Black Americans that are not as, I mean, you can't even take Tariq Nasheed seriously. He's with a half-breed. He's with a half-breed. He doesn't care about black women. He doesn't care about black women. He's not even married to a 100% black woman. I'm not trying to down mulattoes or anything like that, but he deliberately picked a woman that was a mulatto. He said that in his Mac lessons and when he used to have his shows before, as you see right here. He chose not to be with a black woman. So he wants to be an island among himself without black people. Right? He is divesting from black people and black society because black Americans are a drop in the bucket when it comes to black people globally. You are not winning anything. You're not doing anything on your own. You never have, and I'm pretty sure you never will until you link up with other people that share your bloodline and your goal like other people do. You don't have Chinese people here in America saying, well, yo, I ain't like them ching chongs over there. I'm a Chinese American. He speaks Mandarin. I don't like those. I'm Cantonese. I like to speak Cantonese, and I'm from this province. Fuck them other China. They don't do that because they know their power, their real true power, is in unity, one, and two, their homeland. So they could anchor themselves anywhere because that anchor has a chain and a link to something more powerful, which is a group that is a part of a country. Like Italians, the same thing. White people, the same thing. Arabs, the same thing. You want to talk about you're foundational to the white man's ass. That's what FBA is trying to do. They want to be foundational to that white man's ass. They want a red carpet to the white man's ass so they could kiss and grab and love and so they can get a nice pat on the head. That's where he's saying you guys are going to find power. And it has not worked. It's been over 100 years and it has not worked. But you want to slap a new name and a new title, keep going along with the self-hate and the division, thinking that's going to be a turnout. That's what insanity is. Doing the same thing, expecting different results. Any of you that are scientifically minded, when you do experiments, try to see if something works. Let me try a little bit this way to the left. Okay, it's not working. Let me try a little way to the right. Let me try a little way. You do that till you find something that works. But you keep doing the same thing, thinking that it might work, and it's not working, and you keep on doing it. He is fucking y'all over. Taking vacations, talk bad about Africans and Hispanics and Caribbeans, but he goes to their country on vacation, the money that y'all give him in donations for what fucking reason I do not know. But he was talking bad about Mexicans.
Negroes in Mexico. Talk bad about Jamaicans, Negroes in Jamaica. Talk bad about Arabs sometimes, rarely. He in Dubai. Like, y'all dumb as hell, man. Y'all really stupid as hell.
People among us that we have to put in the goofy corner. And we've already done that. That's why when we start getting stuff and getting things on code, we got to stay on code. It's I won't say difficult, but it's a task. It's taskful enough to deal with people within our ranks who are off code. We don't need to bring a whole new crop of non-FBA folks who are just as off code. We already got to deal with off code stuff going on.
Again, making generalizations already. Again, making it seem like black Americans are on code. We know the majority of black Americans and black people as a whole are not on code. So he's going to assume a whole millions, hundreds of millions of people, of black people, hundreds of millions of black people are not on code, but black Americans are more on code. How so? If you're up under white supremacy, if you're in the belly of the beast, if white man controls your food, controls your water, controls your image, controls media, controls information, controls what you like, what you want, versus an African country who has independent media, who has more control over what they want, what they see, what they like, with their own culture intact. Way more than a black American culture. I'm like, okay, this is where I reached the end of his stupidity. But I just pretty much made this video. There was another video I want to make, but this one kind of just egged me because I see him making excuses for why he can't get a museum with a white realtor and money in hand, while his wife's white cousin can't get a building with cash in hand. Right? White supremacy, yeah. But you see, he's using all these reasons that got nothing to do with him. We're talking about people who have a building, or those injunctions being put on, which he doesn't have. He doesn't even have property because he lied to you guys. I just want to make this video just to show that, again, according to him, he's trying to do a finesse. You dig? Oh, lips so dry. Oh, finesse. You hear? You dig? That's all he's trying to do. So I'm gonna end it right here. Thanks for watching, and please, people, don't fall for the bullshit. If you really listen to the bullshit, research and use your brain. Peace. Thanks for watching, y'all. I'll be back with the next video as soon as I can.